TitleMatchNetwork.com.
Became part of a tag team, the Mongols.
Mm-hmm.
How did that come about? What did you think?
Well, I was working single matches. I was working as myself. I was working as the paramedics, the team that we had broken into, just trying to work.
Right.
For Guido, basically.
This is just Pittsburgh, right? Pretty much Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. We do some shots for Martinez in Ohio, Johnny Powers. But basically just in the area that Guido ran.
Right.
And, he gave me an opportunity.
How many matches a week was this?
Usually probably Friday night and Saturday. Sometimes Sunday afternoon if I could do it.
Right.
But I had to go back and teach, so
right.
I was coaching, and on Fridays during football season I couldn't do anything.
Right.
Saturdays, if it was close, after our meetings and stuff, the head coach would let us go. But, probably average maybe 5 matches a month.
Okay.
Summertime more, because I could take the summer off. Well, anyway, Volkoff, who later became Volkoff, Beppo, and Guido were working in Mid-South. And I think if the story is something, Nikolai got thrown over the ring, hit one of the chairs or hit the apron, ruptured his spleen, and Guido called me and said, we're supposed to go to Japan, and how would you like being a Mongol? And it just happened this happened to transpire at the end of the school year.
Right.
So I said, well, when are you supposed to go? And he said, we're going to go in such and such few weeks. So he says, come on, drive over to the house. And I drove from Cambridge, which was outside of Columbus, to Pittsburgh. Sat in his room. He shaved my hair, would give me a ponytail, told me to grow a mustache. And 2 or 3 weeks later, I'm on the plane to Japan.
This came right off of 71, Cambridge?
It's off of 70 and 77.
Right
down south
between
of Canton.
Cincinnati and...
No, that's the other end.
Okay.
This is towards east of Columbus.
Okay.
South of Canton, right where 77.
Okay.
Wheeling is.
Yeah, okay.
Columbus, Cambridge, Wheeling, Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they changed you all over, and then you went to Japan.
Yep, went to Japan.
Was this a year into your wrestling, or 2 years maybe, or?
Less than a year.
Less than a year?
I started in September, and I think we're in Japan the next summer.
Really? Well, what company did you go for?
New Japan.
New Japan.
The only ones I've ever worked for.
You only worked for New Japan?
I've had chances to go to the other side and work for Bubba through the years, but to be very honest, New Japan treated me like gold.
Right.
As I later progressed, I could get on the phone and say, I'm coming over, and they'd say, yeah, and they'd make room. And I had a standing open contract for 14 weeks a year for 14 years, so
can't beat that.
And guys come in the back door and say, jump to us. They treated me so good, I didn't want to start all over again.
Right.
Because I'd go from a good position of trust down to, hey, this guy just jumped.
And that's really important over there.
Yeah, their word is important, and I found in my career, my word's been important.
Right.
Because I come to a lot of people and they'll say, you know what, somebody said you do this, you do that. Now I say you have to prime my memory. I'll try to do it if I remember, and don't be ashamed to come up and say, super, you told me you was going to do this, because I got 20 things going on.
Right.
But if you don't have, and I got that from my dad and my uncle and my grandfather. The only thing we have, the money comes, the money goes. Friendships come, friendships goes. Wives come. In my case, I've had the same wife, and I'm glad of it. But in this business, some guys have 20 wives.
Right.
Literally. But if you don't have your word, you don't have nothing. Because when you come up, you want to have at least greet somebody, and then not say, that guy's full of BS.
Right.
He's a liar.
You don't want that.
And I don't think anybody, they may say it because sometimes I'm too honest, and if I don't like somebody, I'll tell them. Like guys used to ask me, would you watch my match? And I say, wait a minute. Let me clarify this. I'll watch your match. Do you want me to tell you what you want to hear, or do you want me to tell you what I see?
Right.
I'll do either one.
Right.
So, but if you don't have your word, you don't have anything. And I try to instill that in my little grandson. Of course, he's too young to know it now, but I tell them, don't tell any stories, don't tell any lies. It's better be honest, and we can deal with honesty.
Mm-hmm.
And I teach kids at risk. And one of the big factors that we try to instill in them is quit telling so many lies and stories. We can deal with the truth.
Mm-hmm.
We'll work with the truth. But if you lie, then everything you say, we have to look at it a little askew.
Right.
So, well, I got off on a tangent.
That's all right. So, I don't know, you were just saying, like, how before, like, you knew the bumps and all that, and still 10 months in, you're going to Japan now. Everybody pretty much knows Japan's a lot different than the United States.
Well, Japan, here's another funny story that I tell a lot, and it's a true story. And it served me well throughout my career in Japan. You know, I'm on a plane, I don't know what anything's like in Japan.
Right.
But all I heard was you got to be stiff, you got to be fast, you got to be in condition. And it's an 18-hour plane trip. And Guido's telling me what I should do. Got to be stiff. This gimmick is a stiff gimmick. This stiff gimmick. It's like, Jesus, after 18 hours, I would have run through the damn airport knocking people down. You know? So we had our first match. The only thing I could think of, be stiff, be snug, be fast, be tough. And it was funny because after about 4 or 5 days, Sakaguchi, who was the second man in charge, big fruit friend of mine, comes over and he leans over and he says, we want you to loosen up just a little bit. You're killing everybody. And I laugh about it now because the Japanese, the hierarchy, they look at things a little differently. And their whole system is upside down.
Right.
And if there's a weak link, they'll look at all the guys on the tour. At that time, there was like 10 guys in every tour.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll look, well, this guy, I think we could chew him up. And they'll chew him up and spit him out.
Right.
Because the only way for the guy on the bottom to go up the ladder is to work his way and fight his way out. Well, here they're looking at me as, Jesus God, I don't want in there with that guy. He's coming. Because I knew the guys were going back. I'm busting lips and noses and everything. But I was 320 pounds at the time.
Uh-huh.
You know, real young, in good shape, could run 2 miles, never got tired. They must have thought, I'm sure that when they went in the dressing room, they saw their name against Polo Mongols. I quit.
Right.
But it carried over, and nobody ever tested me, you know. And as I got to learn how to work, of course, I was talking to a gentleman downstairs earlier, and he says, well, I saw these matches, and you killed that guy. And I didn't kill the guy. It just looked like I killed him.
Right.
So as I learned to work, I learned to try to make sure that it was convincing without hurting people. And the thing that I hear in talking to younger guys, especially in the other organizations now, they haven't mastered that yet. They're hurting people. The fans know they're hurting people. And the guys don't care that they're hurting people because they're trying to go up the ladder. And they've got it all screwed up. You're supposed to look like you're killing them, not actually killing them.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a work.
It's a work. If it was a shoot, most of the guys wouldn't be there. You think we travel all over the world?
Right.
What's that organization that's the shoot?
UFC, Pride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of those matches are boring.
Right.
You know, they're tough guys. But you've got to throw in the entertainment value.
That's right. So who did you like working over there that you thought?
Well, most of the guys were good. I always had good matches with Fujinami.
Uh-huh.
Always had good matches with Inoki.
Mm-hmm.
Good matches with Sakaguchi, and a lot of guys didn't, but we just hit it off.
Right.
Choshu, Ricky, a lot of good talent over there.
Right. Now, did you go back as part of the Mongols? Or
we went back. I was there 2 times as the Mongols. We went the first time and the second time both on a tournament.
Uh-huh.
And after that, I had changed gimmicks.
Right.
And went back in. And most of my time over the next 14 years was as Superstar.
TitleMatchNetwork.com